I would like to thank the Progressive Caucus from the bottom of my heart for ensuring that our interview with the anti-war AOC protesters remains relevant. I would like to thank them for that, because I was very nervous when news came across the wire last night that they were actually going to do the right thing and render that interview a bit obsolete. Because last night it came across the wire, a group of 30 liberal lawmakers is calling on Biden to shift his strategy on the Ukraine war and pursue direct negotiations with Russia to reach a ceasefire. It marks the first time prominent Democrats have pushed Biden to change his strategy. And I thought, oh no, now that interview we did with the guys who shamed AOC isn't going to play well anymore. I mean,
my phone rings at 3 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck? I pick it up. He's in tears.
It was all for nothing.
He was weeping.
It was for nothing.
He was weeping copious tears.
Oh, the progressives proved us wrong. Our reputations are ruined.
That's it.
What are we going to do?
The Young Turks are going to play clips of us.
What are we going to do? The world's not going to end. There's not going to be nuclear war. And we are going to be proven wrong. We're going to have to live in a non-nuclear wasteland. We're going to have to work
these jobs forever.
With egg on our face. We're going to have to work these shit jobs forever because we're done. Our channel is done. We fucked up.
We're never getting another super chat now.
Right. Exactly. However, I want to thank, once again, Pramila Jayapal, AOC, Ro Khanna, Ilhan Omar. I want to thank you guys for having my back. Really, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for making this right and saving our show. Because they put out this statement the following day. Representative Jayapal, chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, issued the following statement on a letter sent regarding Ukraine. Quote, the Congressional Progressive Caucus hereby withdraws its recent letter to the White House regarding Ukraine. Quote, the letter was drafted several months ago, but unfortunately was released by staff without vetting. As chair of the caucus, I accept responsibility for this. Because of the timing, our message is being conflated by some as equivalent to the recent statement by Republican leader McCarthy threatening an end to Ukraine, an end to aid to Ukraine. If Republicans take over. The proximity of these statements created the unfortunate appearance that Democrats, who have strongly and unanimously supported and voted for every package of military, strategic, and economic assistance to the Ukrainian people, are somehow aligned with Republicans who seek to pull the plug on American support for President Zelensky and the Ukrainian forces. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every war ends with diplomacy, and this one will too after Ukrainian victory. The letter sent yesterday, although restating that basic principle, has been conflated with GOP opposition to support for Ukrainians' just defense of their national sovereignty. As such, it is a distraction at this time, and we withdraw the letter. What she's saying there is that anti-war politics has cooties. Because to be anti-war is to coddle the Republicans. And we are not going to do that, even if it means funding a war that could go nuclear. We know that. That's why we wrote the letter. That's why we drafted the letter in the first place. We know that. But we didn't send it because we don't want to be seen as aligning with the Republican Party.
Well, isn't it also, wasn't Jayapal seen with a cast today? Didn't she have a cast?
Right. They got to her. They got to her. Right.
Yeah. It's incredible what a lack of just pride you have to have in yourself to be willing to write a letter like that. You have to look, man. You're only going to live once. Like, don't you want to have some dignity in this life? Like, really, you've been in Congress for a pretty long time. Didn't you save any of that money? Like, you're not going to be homeless, right? If they come after you and you lose your seat, like, yeah, you got some investments, right? Like, why just make yourself such a low turd under a shoe of a human? Like, why would you, how can you have that little inside yourself? And we already saw that with Jayapal with the infrastructure bill. or she gave it on the infrastructure bill. So she's just missing the shame gene. It seems she's just missing the ability to be embarrassed. But if you're anti-war, they never seem to understand how these things play because they only talk to other people like themselves. They're very out of touch with humans, with people outside of Washington. Okay, so you're telling me I should vote for Republicans if I don't want World War III.
Right, exactly.
Is
exactly.
that? I mean, that's how I read that.
No, exactly.
Like really, for the first time ever, even with Trump and everything, I just said, all right, well, I'm just going to write in Batman characters and whatever. Now I'm like, well, do I need to vote for Republicans now to end World War III or to avoid it, to get some kind of peace negotiation going on? Like that's what you're telling me.
Well, she says it right here. Democrats who have strongly and unanimously supported in voting for every package of military, strategic, and economic assistance to the Ukrainian people, meaning weapons that are going to get the Ukrainian people slaughtered. That's what she means by that.
Right.
Okay, it is out of concern for the safety of the Ukrainian people that we want peace. All right, but like I said, up is down, down is up, left is right. War is peace.
Like this is the first time I've seen them actually say something. It's one thing to go and support independence or to support the Green Party. This is really, because you're talking about nuclear annihilation. This is the first time the Democrats have gone and crossed a line that's making me say, well, maybe we have to vote for Republicans then.
I mean,
right?
Look,
I mean, the Democrats aren't doing shit for us anyway. Right. So if you're talking about shutting down this war and opening up negotiations, it looks like we need to remove the Democrats from power. Like they're telling us, you will not get that if we're in power. And this excuse that they're using, no decisions about Ukraine without Ukraine, we're paying for it. We're paying for it. What the fuck are you talking about? When has the United States ever been shy about imposing conditions on people that we're giving money and arms to? Right. All of a sudden, we can't do that with Ukraine. I mean, it's a smokescreen. We're enriching the arms industry, and we want this war to drag out.
Look, Tulsi said that on her show, 68 Republicans have voted against funding this war. 0 Democrats have. Right. Now, 68 is far too few, right? Because when you add the House and the Senate numbers up, there are over 300 national representatives from the Republican Party. Right. So 68 is about 30% of that. But you know what? That's something. You can say there is a caucus for that in the Republican Party.
Well, not only that,
Democrats,
the Republicans
0.
Crazy motherfuckers.
0.
You get enough Republicans in there who are against it. Republicans don't play, man. They'll shut down the Congress. Oh, yeah? Nope, we're not voting for it. Nope. Not going to happen.
Look, the other thing that struck me about this letter, and I'm working on a piece about this, is that the Progressive Caucus has talked all kinds of shit about how they're for Medicare for all, about how they're, for the $15 minimum wage, about how they're not going to fold on Build Back Better. They've talked a lot of shit, and they've kept that shit up for quite a long time. They did fold on the Build Back Better, obviously, but you still have Ro Khanna periodically just firing off a tweet about how healthcare is a right and blah, blah, blah. Right? They'll run their mouths about that. You're not allowed to run your mouth about this. You're not even allowed to talk about defunding the war machine. The second you even utter a peep that maybe we should stop the flow of weapons into a war that is threatening to go global and nuclear, they rain hell upon your head and you take it back the next day. They are not even allowed to. They are not even allowed to keep up their bullshit when it comes to this issue. They'll let you chirp, okay, yeah, fine, healthcare's a right, that's what you think, have at it. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Rack up a Twitter following.
Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Okay. This, you can't even say this. You can't even utter a word about this. They will put a stop to it, and they did. And they did.
Please clap.